Xi Jinping backs Vladimir Putin against US, NATO on Ukraine.
Here's a summary of the article.
During a virtual summit between the two leaders Wednesday, Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin's insistence that NATO guarantee it will not expand to Ukraine or place troops and weapons in the country. Putin and Xi held the sit-down amid heightened tensions between Moscow and Washington over the buildup of thousands of Russian troops on its Ukraine frontier. According to Putin Foreign Affairs advisor Yuri Ushakov, the Russian and Chinese leaders discussed mounting threats to Russia's national interests from the US and the NATO bloc, which consistently move their military infrastructure close to the Russian borders. Putin told Xi of the need to engage in negotiations with NATO and the US over security guarantees, Ushakov added. At present, certain international forces under the guise of democracy and human rights are interfering in the internal affairs of China and Russia, and brutally trampling on international law and recognized norms of international relations. Xinhua quoted Xi as saying, He two leaders appear to have forged a relationship after the US sanctioned China over its crackdown on the Uyghur Muslim population and Russia over its illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014. A new model of cooperation has been formed between our countries, based, among other things, on such principles as non-interference in internal affairs and respect for each other's interests, Putin told Xi. The Kremlin has repeatedly denied it has plans for military action against Ukraine after US officials warned allies that an invasion could take place as soon as early next year. Putin also said he plans to meet with Xi in person in Beijing in February and to attend next year's Winter Olympics.
This post received a score of 38,000, with an upvote ratio of 91%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
China and Russia are both pro-anything that makes the US weaker.
And as an outsider, I'm in C. Seeing US internal politics is like you guys are sabotaging your own self too.
That's so weird. I figured CCP would have America's back for sure.
Don't worry. We'll punish them by continuing to expand business interests with them and sending them money. As a final insult, we'll censor our own movies as to not upset them.
So many people could have been harmed, not only financially, but physically, emotionally, spiritually. Just be careful about what we tweet, what we say and what we do. Yes, we do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with that, too. LeBron as spokesperson for corporate America.
I made a mistake. Cena apologized profusely in Chinese, which he has studied for years. Now I have to say one thing which is very, very, very important. I love and respect China and Chinese people.
As awful as the situation is, the John Zing memes are delightful.
This is the first time I've seen John Cena and I am absolutely delighted with it lol.
John Cena warrior princess coming to the WB.
The new Cold War is really taking shape right in front of us, huh? That is, if it remains cold.
I hope so. I'd rather not die in a thermonuclear war.
There are far fewer nuclear weapons than there were at the peak of the Cold War, and they tend to be smaller, so their targeting is more focused. Russia has about 6,200 warheads. There are 400 Minuteman silos in North America separated from towns by a good distance. And there are probably 2 warheads aimed at each, so that brings Russia down to 5,400 warheads, and not all of those will be deployed or even on weapons that can cross vast distances. There's a good chance you'll survive the exchange. The famine and collapse of the healthcare system that follows is another story.
I'ma be real, I'd rather die in that mushroom cloud than deal with the aftermath.
Same. One small benefit of living near DC.
Best make sure you're in DC when it hits. I wouldn't want to be in the just too far away category either.
I'm in Baltimore. I'll be sure when I hear the sirens to just start sprinting immediately towards DC.
You're gonna be inadvertently training for an ultra-marathon, Brohan.
After scrolling through unserious comments and jokes, hoping to find a nugget of useful analysis on this news. Anyone care to add some serious discussion to this thread? It seems to me as mostly performative, as it's in their interests to appear like they are together against the West on certain issues. I would think that Russia has a lot more to be concerned about when it comes to China's rising world power status than they do from the West.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes. and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.